What's a seller's credit? Is it good? Is it bad? Why do they even exist? And how do I decide if I should use them? We'll answer all these questions next. Welcome back. Before we get started, if you'd like a free copy of my top 10 tips for selling your home fast and for the most money, please email me at the address below. Okay, back to seller's credits. Many times when a buyer submits an offer, especially a first-time home buyer, they ask for a seller's credit or a seller assistance to help offset the large sum of money that they'll owe at closing for down payment and closing costs. Also, often buyers artificially inflate the offer price to build in that seller's credit. So for example, let's say you're a buyer looking at a $200,000 house. After your discussions with your mortgage lender, maybe they say it would be best if the buyers could get a $5,000 seller's credit. So they recommend putting that into their offer. The buyers decide that they want to pay $190,000 for the home, but to do that, they would need to offer $195,000 for the home with a $5,000 credit to net $190,000. So the seller on paper gets $195,000 for the house at closing, but then gives back at the same time $5,000, so the seller nets $190,000, which is what the buyers wanted to offer. So in this example, the buyers artificially inflated the price they wanted to offer by $5,000 in order to request the seller's credit and offer the $190,000 net amount to the seller. In my experience, maybe 20-25% of offers include a seller's assistance request, so it's pretty common that most offers do not include it. Here are some disadvantages to the seller, and some can also be a disadvantage to the buyer. Number one, sellers tend to pay commission to seller agency as a percentage of the sales price. If they accepted an inflated price of $195,000, even though they're only getting $190,000, they now have to pay maybe 6% commission on that extra $5,000, or approximately $300. Number two, sellers tend to pay also transfer tax based on the percentage of sales price. So it's the same situation as the last example. In Philadelphia, sellers have to pay approximately 2.1% transfer tax. So that would be a little more than $100 extra for transfer taxes with that inflated price. Number three, potential appraisal issues with an artificially inflated sales price. A buyer and seller can agree to whatever price they want, but if the buyer is getting a mortgage, the lender is going to be sending an independent appraiser to the property to give his or her professional opinion on the price. And that's the price that the bank will use as fact. If you're inflating the price from this example to $195,000, even though you think it's really worth $190,000, if the appraisal comes in at maybe say $192,000, it's going to be a problem, as there's a $3,000 gap between the $195,000 and the $192,000 appraisal price. And someone has to make up for that, either the buyer or the seller, or at times both. So the bottom line is, make sure you look at all the angles when deciding if a seller's credit is right for you. It has pros and cons. In my opinion, most of the pros are for the buyer and most of the cons tend to be for the seller. Hope you found this video helpful. Again, if you'd like the top 10 tips to how to sell your home fast, just email me at the address below. Need help selling or buying? Call Paul. Have a great day. Bye-bye.